Remember the Beatles? Remember at the end of Abbey Road? There's that little line. It said, the love you take is equal to the love you make. So we're going to spend this time together discussing how to love another. And I want to talk to you, I want to share with you a story about a man who showed me what that love was. It's a gentleman with a very simple name, Paramahansa Prajnanananda. So would you like to say that with me together? And I met this gentleman about 5 years ago. It was at an interfaith type gathering where they had ministers of 8 different types of beliefs, and we got to get up and we got to talk about the idea of what does it mean to live a joyful life. And so everyone went through, and I got done with mine, and then this gentleman came up, and he was the spiritual leader for Kriya Yoga. Kriya Yoga is a form of spiritual practice that's been identified with Paramahansa Yogananda and then that lineage. And so they have a way of practicing what we practice, but from a more of an Eastern slant. Well, Paramahansa, he did his talk, and I will call him Baba because Baba simply means father, someone who's respected. And so Baba got up and did his talk, and then the whole thing came to the end. And we were standing on stage, and everyone was sort of talking. It was just a gathering. And let me describe Baba for you. Baba is about 5'3". He has big, bushy black hair. You know, the big, bushy hair, the long hair, and a big, bushy black beard. He's got the orange monk-type outfit on and the red dot and the thing. And he is just this radiant energy. So this beautiful man, who I've never met, walks up to me. And he reaches up to my 6'2". He takes his hands, which are like the hands of a child, and he reaches up and he starts to stroke my face. His eyes are these magnificent, huge brown eyes that are looking through me. And he just looks at me and says, "You have a beautiful smile." All I could do was giggle. What do you do being a man in the American society when another man walks up and just gently strokes your face and he says to you, "My, you have a beautiful smile"? Well, I giggled. But more importantly in that is that what he did, or the way he was, the way he looked at me, touched me in such a way that a week later I went to seek him out. I went to seek to just have a conversation with him. I found out he was in India. So I emailed him. He said in order to have a conversation, I could come down in a couple months down to Austin. He would be doing a retreat, and he would make a couple hours available to me. But the catch was, in order to go to the retreat, I had to become initiated into the form of meditation, Kriya Yoga, that they did. I had not been. But this journey continued, for I did that. And the next year, I went on the retreat, and we connected. And when we connected this time, I was not let down, because my expectation of what love was after being him was met by his expectation of expressing his pure love. You see, this idea of love goes so perfectly with the word namaste. There are many translations for it, but just say this: the God, life, joy, peace, beauty, that is me, sees the God, love, peace, beauty, and joy, that is you. No more a perfect definition of love can be found. I've recognized it in myself, and what I see in myself, I see in everyone I meet, everyone I think of. So I want to go back to this idea about the law of equivalent, the law of reciprocal, the law of attraction. Because we cannot attract into our experience anything more than we recognize for ourselves. We have to become that which we seek to desire. So we've talked about this over the last 6 weeks where we talked about self-love. And in self-love, we talked about that the first step to self-love is to see the truth. And the truth is you are not this individual, but you are the individualization of the infinite, and that you are all powerful. You see, so when I see that I am that individualization, I am this all-powerful creative intelligence, that I am responsible and I create my lives, for me to truly have embodied it, to believe it, I have to be able to see that for everyone else in my life. Because if I cannot see that for another, I cannot really see it for myself. Because how I am with another is reflecting back to me what I really believe about myself. So the next step we talked about in self-love was this idea of authenticity, that we are to be in the world and be our authentic self. Well, if I'm authentic and I'm in the world, then I have to allow every person that comes into my life to be authentic as well. I can't ask them to be anything other than they are. I can only expect their authenticity, because what I allow them to be is what I allow myself to be. We talked about the idea then that in order to be in self-love, we must let go of the past. We must be able to forgive ourselves. And in forgiving ourselves, it's not that we've committed any wrong act. We're simply letting go of our attachment to an event that we felt hurt us, that held us back in the past. So in letting go of that event, we're free to be in the now. Here's the kicker. I have to be able now to look at someone, anyone who has ever done anything, and I have to be forgiving of them and realize that their past is in their past. And now they are fully present with me. And if I cannot realize that power for them, then I cannot realize that power for me. So the idea of forgiveness comes in. True love is the capacity to see beyond the idea of an appearance and to do it without judgment and to see the truth. And the truth is that whoever you are with, they are perfect. They're on their unique journey. And when they're on their unique journey and you realize that all the power of the one infinite intelligence is right where they are, there's no need to judge how they're doing it. There's no need to try to control who they're being. There's only a reason to be fully present with them and to accept them. It's the refusal to judge is the scientific principle behind the idea of healing. Do you hear that? In order to heal anything, we must come out of judgment. Because the second we are in judgment, we are not accepting the wholeness of ourselves or the wholeness of another, or we're not accepting our connection to the infinite power and presence, and therefore healing cannot take place. Because healing is being in that state of oneness, that quiet place that we go when we're in meditation, where we feel a sense of pure connection and love, where we feel total acceptance and inner peace, where we feel harmony and no discord. So in the workshop that I was in this weekend, we did a lot of inner work. And in that inner work, I understood as we were doing it, it was the idea of loving myself. And so when I said to myself, what is my divine purpose? What is Lee's divine purpose to be in the world? This is what I came up with. To live a joyous, balanced, and purpose-filled life. And what you see there are very clear words for me. I'm going to live every moment of my life. I'm going to be fully awake in every moment of my life. And it will be joyous because I understand that joy is the highest expression of connection and oneness. The other thing that I understand, that a life that is joyous for me is a life that is balanced. And this life is purpose. It has a purpose. It's filled with purpose. So this is my idea of what self-love is. But then, how do I come forward and do I love another? So I added this: to empower and support others as they discover how to live a joyous, balanced, and purpose-filled life. Do you see how in that one statement, there's the loving of Lee and the loving of all else? And this is what I clearly understand about life. It's about taking the time in our day to so fall in love with us, to so be able to release the past, to say no to the things that no longer serve us, to be authentic when we're by ourselves, to not lie to ourselves when we're asking ourselves questions, to be that person. And then we take that and we treat everyone we meet in that same light. So all we do, as Microsoft would say, you do a copy on Lee and you a paste on all others. Did you hear that? Do you see how simple that is? What you see about yourself, what you love about yourself, what you forgive with yourself, you do the exact same thing with everyone else. What I've described is a very simple process. But this process involves commitment. It involves work. It involves a dedication. It involves balance. It involves a discipline. We did not get to where we are overnight. And when I say get to where we are, I'm talking about the unconsciousness that we tend to live our lives by. This didn't happen over life. It may have happened for us, in this case, 21 years ago. In the little boy in the back, it may have happened 17 months ago, but he's still conscious. That's the beauty of the little guy. For me, it happened 25 years ago. Because that's how I see my age. I see my age as a young, virile man that's energetic, that's thriving for life. But I'm living with the wisdom of a 61-year-old. I'm actually living with the wisdom of a man who has been infinitely here and unfolding itself. Do you see, we are not just here in this time frame of human body. We have been here since the beginning of all time. And we will be here for all time because there is no end to time. There's just now. So the question is, how do we take our now and be in that now and share that now with all others? Something unfolded, and I'm going to say that in this room, that I found fascinating. When you want to be anything, hang around with people who are what you want or are becoming what you want or have the intention of what you want. And one of the most beautiful senior ministers in the movement made a statement that I thought was phenomenal, and I want to share it. That statement was, if you are single, see me looking at anyone? If you are single and you are desiring to have a great relationship, Hang around with people in a great relationship. Because what you hang around with is the energy you become, and you attract what you're experiencing. But if you're hanging around with people who are in a state of want, you're going to be in a state of what? Want. And you're going to always be talking about what? Wanting. And when you talk about wanting, you stay in that. Loving oneself means to be the person in the relationship. When you're in the person in the relationship, you now take that out to all the people you meet. You are in a love relationship with everybody. You see, so to love another means to love yourself so much that you can only be with people who love themselves so much and are becoming more, and therefore the attraction takes place. Take this same principle and use it for any other love that you've got in your life. If you have a love for abundance, be with abundant people. If you have a love for abundance of health, be with healthy people. You see where I'm going? Because this whole idea of love is just simply the proper use of the law of attraction. And I'm going to say this, it's more than just the law of attraction, because you are not attracting to you something that you're not. It's the law of revelation. You are revealing the higher aspect that you choose to reveal. You don't attract nothing into your life. You reveal the magnificence that's always been there. And when you reveal it, you must have more. So again, we look at the idea of love, and we first know we must love ourselves. And when we can see the truth about ourselves, we see the truth in others. When we can forgive ourselves, we can forgive others. When we can say no to things that no longer serve us, we can allow others to say no to things that no longer serve them. When we can be authentic, we can allow others to be authentic. And then we can come together without judgment and be in perfect harmony, perfect love. And then we can listen. We can listen very quietly, and we'll understand that the love you take is equal to the love you make.